Talking at a lesson by lesson level, you go into the content underneath the outcomes. You might put the outcome in just to say this is the outcome I'm looking at, but most of the time you're looking at dot points. Now, so what we have here is outcomes listed at the front and the big thinking guiding questions, because they're trying to take probably an inquiry approach to the whole way they're doing it. So they have the big ideas, which is like the objectives. Then what happens is the school goes into the content after that. Now, this content is not necessarily in the same order as what the syllabus document is. You can do the content in your school any old how you like, so long as at the end of the day, when you look back, you can say, yes, we did everything that's in the syllabus, you've met your obligations. Now, so the way you teach it is also entirely up to you. You don't have to do it in any particular way. Now, one thing that this document has in it is a column that says differentiations adjustments. Anytime you do a scope and sequence, it is necessary, when I read your submission for your assignments, what I look for is these are the outcomes they're claiming to address. I then read all of the content as a whole, and I, at the end of it, go, did what they proposed as their plan for what they were going to do, would that actually meet those outcomes? Does that make sense? The next thing you do is you look at assessment. And you go, is the assessment, which is defined at the HSC and preliminary levels as well, about how that assessment is supposed to look, have they ever adequately catered for what the syllabus requires there? Have they done assessment for learning, all that sort of stuff? Right, so everything, when I read your submissions, I refer back to the documentation of what it is you're supposed to have done to determine how well you've done that. Now, let us have a look at one of the sections. The syllabus document itself, most of it is straight content. So there is, right at the start, this is page 5. This is the first division of the program. So we start off in Year 11, basic algebra and arithmetic. Then we go on to functions, trig, linear functions and so on.
Can you show me where you're at?
Yep. If you go to...
If that's the slide I put you on, that's all the new syllabuses.
Yeah, just there. Mathematics. Okay. Now, most of these, initially, it gives you all the syllabuses anyway. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's the one we're looking at, okay. 2 to 3. There we go. And just go down to page 5 and that's what this is. All right, so that's the first division. So when you go into a school and you drag out their work program, if you open it up and just have a quick look through, you will probably see these as the primary divisions of the program developed, because they marry up closely to the syllabus. Does the syllabus tell you how long you've got to spend on any one of those?
Not really.
No. All it says, all the syllabus requires is, for mathematics at a given level, you have to do so many hours. How the hell you divide that up is entirely up to you in the school. And the work program will give you, if you pull out the work program, look at the unit, it'll tell you how long you've got to do it for. And that's what you have to plan. Right? So, that's the first division, the large scale one. Notice at the end of each of those, it gives you in a bracket, it tells you the section. That's the section in the syllabus further down. Come back to that one in a minute. If you go down, that goes to, that's the net. This bit here, there's basic algebra and arithmetic. This is basically a dot-pointed list, a numbered list of how they want that broken up. It's like the next division of the one above it. Then, if you continue on, this bit is additional information on syllabus content. We're back to basic arithmetic and algebra again. So what this section does is it gives you a lot more of the detail about exactly what they mean by that section. This is what the students should be able to do. Does that make sense? And they're all structured this way. So, when you do your scope and sequences for your work, what you need to do is identify from the outcomes which one of those you are doing. They always require you to go, I'm doing H3 or whatever. You also have to go into the syllabus to identify which parts of the syllabus you're doing. When you refer to the syllabus, make sure you tell me, because there's a variety of syllabus documents on the web, make sure you tell me which syllabus document you're using. So I know that because I go there and I look them up, make sure I know what, because you don't have to give me all the text on the dot points. You do usually give the text on the outcome, but not necessarily on the dot points. You just say I'm doing 1.4 or whatever, right? So, but I need to know which one it is. So then you go into the syllabus document to see the type of thing that the student should actually do, be capable of doing. Does it mean that you do it that way? No. It's entirely up to you. All these are is a statement of content. This is what they should be able to do. What it doesn't do is tell you anything about your pedagogical approach. So don't get too tied into, which a lot of teachers do, they basically work off this syllabus document. And today we're going to do this bit and this bit. Does that make sense? All right. Depending, what I would be looking for in your scope and sequence documents are the creation of a set of lessons which are put in a real world context in some way. So if you're going to do, this is the first unit, year 11, basic arithmetic and algebra. The way I would like you to think and to plan is to go, have a quick squiz through the whole thing to see what sort of thing it is they're supposed to be able to do in terms of mathematical skill and content, and then go, what real world situation can I use where all of this can be applied and used so that they can work within a real world framework. So it's not just a pad and pencil. Even at year 11 and 12, you should think along those lines. So if we're doing things like this, that page there, 1.1 says, obviously addition, subtraction, arithmetical operations on fractions and decimals and all that sort of stuff. Conversion of fractions to decimal, percentages and vice versa. Express that as so we're expressing a decimal as a fraction as a decimal. Determination of powers and roots. Who can think of a real world application that I could do where all of this is going to be the tools that the students have to use to actually work in that real world situation?
My only idea is shopping.
Good.
Because you've got
And
half off.
How could you do it with... Remember that you're also trying to get them connected to the idea that this is me in this real world situation and I'm actually doing it. So how can we... Because that's actually what I was thinking of, but it wasn't quite shopping. How...
Budget?
Yeah. I tend to have done that a lot. How about getting them to be the owner of a cafe or a coffee shop? Everyone loves coffee. And what I would do is the first lesson, I'd have a mobile coffee machine, a Breville. I'd bring it into class and the first lesson would be making coffee. And I'd have my bag of coffee sitting at the side, and I wouldn't talk about mathematics initially at all. They would just come in, sit down, have a quick chat, and we'd have a coffee break. And we'd make coffee, get them to make the coffee and all that sort of stuff. And then at the end of it, I would pose a series of questions. And those questions would be something like, if we were going to run this as a coffee shop, how can we make a profit out of it? And get each of them to develop a business plan for hiring staff. Like I'd give them the conditions. You've got to hire somebody You've got to pay them the award rate, and you've got to pay taxes and all that sort of stuff. As soon as you have them paying taxes and superannuation, what have they got